Welcome to the Guild Troll, and welcome to DM Prep. My name is Ian, and I will be your DM prepping Cursed Strahd. So we're prepping Episode 3, the Village of Barovia. So when last we left off, our players had just left the Death House. So I immediately described to them that they were suddenly in a village that actually had people in it, and actually had, like, not hustle and bustle, but, like, activity. Hopefully the background noise isn't too loud. I've got the air conditioner on. I've got my 3D printer on. I usually try to not have those on when I'm streaming, but I'm printing dice boxes for our dice box giveaway, and it's really hot, so I have the air on so I don't die. So we're prepping, and we're just gonna figure out what's up with the Village of Barovia. It is a fairly small area. There's only 7 locations, one of which is Death House, so that's handled. And then from there, we're going to take our leave of the city, and we're going to start prepping the Valley of Barovia, specifically the River Iblis Crossroads, and then the Tser Pool Encampment, since it's very likely that the players will head there. Which reminds me, I had intended to grab my Tarokka deck, because I own one of those before I started streaming, and I forgot to do that. So I guess I'll get that when I need it. So Village of Barovia. Let's take a look. So it's pretty simple. We've got hover zoom. We've got hover zoom is what we've got. Let's hover zoom. All right. So we've got a general store, a tavern, a haunted mansion, the Burgomaster's mansion, the church, and then the associated graveyard. These are just things that I remember from having run it before. So Bildreth's Mercantile simply has anything with a price lower than 25 gold pieces, but they cost 10 times as much. So one of the things that my players kind of hinted at was that they assume that when they try to sell gemstones, they're going to get like crap deals for them, and that's actually not the case. I don't plan on. I do plan on giving them their full value for any kind of sellables, any kind of treasure that isn't just coinage. But everything costs way too much, and only having things that cost less than 25 gold is severely limiting. Like if we take a look at the weapons table, you can get almost every weapon. Every simple weapon's cheaper than that. Light crossbow and short bow are exactly 25 gold, whereas this says less. Oops. Whereas this says only price is lower than 25 gold. So if it costs 25, he ain't got it. So he doesn't have crossbows. He doesn't have short bows. Doesn't have great swords. Doesn't have great axes. Doesn't have rapiers or scimitars. Doesn't have hand crossbows, heavy crossbows, or longbows. Yeah, there's a lot of weapons that cost more than 25 gold, and then armor is you're not getting armor. You can get a shield for 10 gold. You can get padded or leather armor. You're not getting studded leather. You can get hide if you're so inclined. You can't get any other medium, and you can't get any heavy. Oh, you can get ring mail. No, you can't get ring mail. You can't get any heavy armor. So they actually have a fairly significant amount of money on them. They found a platinum necklace with a topaz on it that's worth 750 gold, as well as some gemstones and some gold rings. So all said, I think they have about 1,000 gold worth of treasure from Death House. But that really only amounts to 100 gold because everything costs more. It does give them the opportunity to sort of splash the pot. I guess that's the phrase I'm looking for. When they get to the inn, they can just throw shitloads of money at them. A pitcher of wine costs 1 silver. Wow. So. Yeah, so they can buy as much wine and rooms as they want. It's just equipment is expensive. And then the stock boy Parrywimple is he's a truck. He is a truck. 112 hit points. He has 14 AC because he doesn't have a shield. Triple attack, 2d6. Except he's probably doing 2d8 because he doesn't have shield bash. Any smiths in Barovia? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so. So if he gives them a hard time, he's gonna call his he's gonna call his nephew to throw them out. He is simple-minded. He's devoted to his uncle, will not follow the characters as long as Bildreth has something to say about it. Bildreth's mercantile is, how do they maintain equipment? They don't, because I've never ran like equipment destruction or maintenance rules, because similar to players having to go to the bathroom, I don't think it's super interesting or fun, or like don't track ammo, don't track your bladder, don't track how good your equipment is, like unless I really want to just sunder your weapon, I'm not gonna worry about whether or not your weapon's gonna break. I have used sundering rules before. Yeah, Mr. DM, I gotta go pee. Sunder shaman, sundered chains. Isn't there like rules for sundering? Here we go. Sunder. Sunder a non-magical metal object with smith's tools. That's weird. That's weird. No one could make them a great sword from, say, the metal of two long swords, and they're not. I mean, no, as far as I'm aware, there's no one in Barovia who's a smith, but that's not to say they can't just find great swords throughout. Or, you know, if they have smith's tools, they can make their own weapons. So, the mercantile is not really the important thing here. We're gonna head to Mad Mary's Townhouse real quick. We're just gonna skip there because Blood of the Vine is really important. So Mad Mary's Townhouse is actually a house that my players, when the last time I played this, completely ignored. So essentially, it's the sidest of side quests that actually pays off when the players eventually go to Castle Ravenloft. So Mad Mary's daughter, Gertruda, broke out of the house a week ago, having been trapped there her entire life. And then Strahd kidnapped her, and now she's in Area K42 in Chapter 42, which is, like, it's a bedroom with a big ol' Z on the headboard. It's like, yikes. Not really sure what she's doing there. Malformed doll. Oh, she sits in the center of the floor, clutching a doll. Belonged to Mary, was passed down to Gertruda. Got off Blinsky, made it. Cool. Gertruda. But yeah, my players assumed it was another haunted house, and they had just gotten out of Death House, and they're like, how about we don't? So they just ignored the whole thing. So with that out of the way, let's check out Blood of the Vine Tavern. So Blood of the Vine Tavern is your typical tavern. It was once finally appointed, but it's grown shoddy over the years. Blazing fire on the hearth gives scant warmth to the few huddled souls within. They include the barkeep, 3 Vistani, and a man named Ismark Kolyanovich, who happens to be the son of the village burgomaster, Kolyan Indirovich. So there's a really interesting note about how last names work. So you'll notice that Ismark's last name is Kolyanovich. That comes from his father, whose name is Kolyan. His sister, Irina Kolyana, has a different last name from either of them. So her name also comes from Kolyan Indirovich, but she has a feminine ending to her name, so it's Kolyana instead of Kolyanovich. So one of the things that I wanted to do in preparation for this session coming up on Sunday is I wanted to prep an accent. I just don't know how well I can do it. I don't know if I can convincingly do an Eastern European accent. So I don't know if I'm going to do that, but if I do that, I'm not going to prep it on stream because it's going to be an hour of me just saying the same thing over and over and over again until I get comfortable with it. So that's a thing that I might be doing for Sunday. They took Icelandic naming conventions and made them Transylvanian. Sure, I'm sure Iceland is the only place that has that naming convention. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of ways to name yourselves. I mean, most countries just named people after their profession. That's why we have 80 million Smiths. So, role-playing Ismark. He's kind of a good-looking dude if it weren't for the fact that he's pale as shit. So he sits by himself at a corner table sipping his wine. He invites characters to join him, offers to pay for the wine, and asks, ooh, channel Christoph Waltz. Ooh. That's actually a really good idea. I actually kind of like that for the Barovians, and then the Eastern European accent that I was referring to was for Vistani. So I actually kind of like the idea of using a German accent for Barovians. Maybe here. Twitch Prime watch party. There's a very short list of things that you can actually watch with a watch party on Twitch. Are you gonna tell me what the list is? Or are you just gonna be a dick? Wow. Watch parties. Wow. Useless. Someone find out if Inglourious Bastards is available for Twitch watch parties. He has the hair you wish you had when you grew it out. I mean, he does have pretty nice hair. I just love that tasteful little curl. So he wants your help protecting his adopted sister, Irina Kolyana. I forgot she was adopted, but now that I read that, I remember that her brother, spoiler alert in case you're not aware that this is a spoiler stream, Irina's brother is Izek Strasny in Vallaki. And I had wanted that to come up in my last Curse of Strahd game, and I forgot to run an encounter when they were on the road, and then I missed my only opportunity to have them run into him again. And I was thoroughly upset. Like, it would have been, like, nonsensical for them to run into him after that point. So, I missed my chance. So, if they agree to help, he takes them to the Burgomaster's residence. He wants them to help escort her to Vallaki. He hopes beyond the reach of Strahd. Moving her is a gamble since she's vulnerable when she's outside their home, but he has heard assertions that Vallaki is well defended. Very untrue. Ismark is as tight-lipped as any of the other Barovian villagers, unless the talk deals with Irina or Strahd. Ismark knows everything the other villagers know. He also knows that for some unknown reason, Strahd is attracted to Irina and desires her above all others. I find it really hard to believe that Strahd doesn't just already have her. So the thing that I'm trying to find is the rumors, like what people know. Let's see. This is just, yeah. Sunlight in Barovia, Barovians. So fun fact, 1 in 10 Barovians has a soul. Yep, they're made of flesh and blood. They're born, they age, and they die, but not all of them. Only about 1 in every 10 have souls. It can take decades for a bodiless soul to find a host. Barovians and non-humans. This is gonna be real interesting because my entire party is non-human. We have an elf, a furbolg, a grung, a pixie, and who am I forgetting? A Goliath. We have a lot of Strahd may see false rumors to encourage shit like this. Oops. So Barovian lore. Here we go. So this is the stuff that they were talking about in the other chapter. It says he knows everything the other villagers know. So is there something like in the village, not areas of the village. Barovian villagers aren't interested in speaking. Never attack first. Cower by candlelight. So if they go into a random house, they find some stuff. Oh my god, Strahd zombies, aren't they like CR2? CR1, okay. Still, 30 hit points, ADC. I mean, now that they're level 3, they can probably handle 2d4 of them. Excuse me. I was trying to find if there was anything that said, like, oh, yeah, you know, this is what Barovian villagers know. But not seeing anything, so we're going to use this list of stuff. So these are all the lore that may not be true. Strahd is a vampire. He lives in Ravenloft. That one's true. He is a curse placed on the land because of a forgotten sin of the Barovians' ancestors. Not true. Vampire must rest in its coffin during the day. At night, it can summon wolves and vermin to do its bidding. Vampire can transform into a bat wolf, cloud of mist. In its human form, it can dominate you with its powerful gaze. Can't enter a residence without an invitation from one of the occupants. And running water burns them. Sunlight causes them to burst into flame. So most of these are actually true, just not this one. And then this is something that I want to really emphasize to my players because it was really fucky my last campaign because they never tried to go into the fog. They were just like, the fog is trying to tell us to go this way, so let's go that way. They never tried to venture into it. So I want that to happen at least once. Define a residence. Could a cave become a residence? Shut up. We're going to use Minecraft rules. You have to put a bed there and then sleep there. And it has to be physically fortified. You can't just have someone walk into it, then it doesn't count. Does it require a physical barrier? Absolutely. 100% requires a physical barrier. Without a physical barrier, there's no way to determine where it ends. Many strangers have been drawn. Yep. Wolves in the woods. Yep. Sits at the east end of the valley. Yep. Burgomaster is Kolyan Indirovich. Town of Valaki, Baron Vargas Valakovich. Cool. Fortified village of Krezik lies at the west end of the valley. It's built around an old abbey. Burgomaster is Dmitry Kreskov. Why does Valaki get Valakovich? Krezik gets Kreskov, but then Barovia gets Indirovich. Whatever. Wine is the lifeblood of Barovia. For some, it's the only reason to keep living. Cool. Mad Wizard Great Power haunts the foothills of Mount Baratok. Fun fact, it's Mordenkainen. Spoiler alert. Beliefs and superstitions. So they have the Morning Lord and the Mother Night. The Morning Lord watched over the Barovian people. Now, the sun has not shone unobscured for centuries, and the Morning Lord no longer answers prayers. In the presence of Mother Night, it's felt most strongly between dusk and dawn, although nighttime prayers to her go unanswered. She has forsaken the Barovian people and sent Strahd to punish them. So, like, gods just don't exist? I don't... Spirits drift along the Old Svalach Road towards Ravenloft in the dead of night. These phantoms are all that remain of Strahd's enemies. This is actually really cool. That's a special event in the Village of Barovia. Vistani serves Strahd and never harm a raven. Cool. So these are superstitions that kind of sort of have a little bit... yeah, I would be really upset if Mordenkainen is in Rime of the Frost Maiden. So Vistani, singular Vistana. They're neat, but we're not here about them. Vistani have their own set of things they know, so that's better. So Ismark, he knows things that other villagers know. Cool. He also knows that Strahd is attracted to Irina. We did not use plea for help, so they don't have a writing. They don't have a letter. They do have a letter from Kolyan Indirovich, but it's actually a letter from Kolyan Indirovich, the one they found on the road. Ismark has spent most of his adult life training with weapons. If he suggests he accompany them, he agrees, provided that Irina is first taken to a place of safety. As long as Ismark accompanies them, he acts as a party member for determining each character's share of experience points. Well, that's just a dick move. What's his stat block? Oh, he's a veteran. He's actually competent. Alright. Does he have multi-attack? He does. He's gonna massively outshine them until, like, level 5. Use the following information to roleplay other NPCs. Arik the Barkeep. Pudgy little man named Arik Lorensk. He mindlessly cleans glasses with a dirty rag, of course, right? If he's spoken to, he takes orders for drink with a dull, hollow voice. Cool. He ignores all attempts to question. He just ignores it. So 3 Vistani spies named Alenka, Mirabelle, and Sorvia. They own the tavern. Cool. Cool. If they arrive in the company of other Vistani, they're much more likely to engage in conversation. They suggest the characters visit Madame Ava. Cool. I am not going to require that they come here with Vistani. I do want to make sure that my players end up at Madame Ava. I want that to be... I definitely want that to happen immediately. They've been promised that Madame Ava will be able to find or locate for them the things that they're looking for. Snurk, the grown samurai, is looking for his master Dorian Ito. Tiny and Gramps, Elodie, and actually his name is just Gramps now. He had a name and then we decided it's just Gramps. Tiny and Gramps are looking for the werewolves that destroyed Tiny's village. Those are in the werewolf den. That's really easy. Inej is looking for the Shield of the Hidden Lord. I shit you not. And that reminds me, I was supposed to put a bit goal for that. Steph, write it down. I need a bit goal for Sunday. That will most likely be wherever the players are when that bit goal gets met. And then Rubek is looking for family, essentially. He's looking for a place to belong. Thanks, Shadows. Just people in Discord. Bit goal for Sunday. Thank you. What's annoying is I have to reset the bit goal every Sunday because there's no way to do a bit goal that only runs during certain streams. So I'll have to change it every time. Oh my god, Jesse messaged me too. Thanks. Alright, so that's Blood of the Vine. So let's look at the Burgomaster's mansion. Wow, that's some read aloud text. Iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, left swings lazily in the wind. Squeal and clang of the gate. Weeds choke the grounds. Against the walls, growth has been tramped down to create a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls. Great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window, barred with planks, each one marked with stains of ill omen. Does that mean werewolves peed on them? I don't know what stains of ill omen means. Wolf paw prints, human footprints, zombies and ghouls. She's a noble with 14 hit points. Do they not? They normally have 9. Cool. She has a breastplate. That's neat. Adopted daughter of the Burgomaster is inside the mansion and won't open the heavily barred door to anyone unless she's convinced that those outside her door have no allegiance to Strahd. If they convince her, or if Ismark is with them, she opens the door and invites them in. Commoners have 4, nobles have 9. Yeah, she's a noble. Nobles normally have 9 hit points, but she has 14. Interior of the mansion is well furnished, but worn. Noticeable oddities are boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room. Burgomaster is in a side drawing room on the floor, lying in a simple wooden coffin surrounded by wilting flowers and a faint odor of decay. They made the coffin themselves. That's adorable. Striking young woman with auburn hair. She's been bitten twice by Strahd. Villagers are afraid of her and avoid her. The characters are Irina's best hope for protection, so she's willing to accompany them under certain conditions. She doesn't remember her early past. She doesn't know how she came to Barovia or where she came from. Encounters with Strahd are fuzzy memories thanks to his vampiric charm. She can recall the blazing hunger in his eyes. Wolves and creatures attack the house night after night for weeks. Burgomaster died of a heart attack, and then the house has been fine. No one from the village has been brave enough to help Ismark take Kolyan to the cemetery for proper burial. Rena asks the characters if they would be so kind as to help Ismark deliver her father's body safely to Donovich, the local priest. She refuses to be taken to Vallaki until the Burgomaster lies dead while the Burgomaster lies dead on the mansion floor. Cool. So yeah, she's just like, nope, gotta bury my dad, gotta bury my dad, gotta bury my dad, gotta bury my dad, then we can go. So one thing that always confused me is Strahd has eyes basically fucking everywhere. She has a certain protection inside her home because Strahd can't personally enter. Why can't he just send wolves at the house, break down the door, and then drag her out of the house and then take her? And also, if he has eyes everywhere, why can't he just immediately just take her once the players leave the village? I gotta be creepy. I'm just pacing. Jesus. Oh, Strahd gotta be creepy from afar. No, because it literally says, so if you look at Stravan Zarovich, Strahd's goals, turn Irina Kolyana. He's visited Irina twice. On both occasions, he charmed his way into her home. He intends to kill Irina during their next meeting and turn her into his vampire spawn consort. Like, what's taking him so long? Yeah, she does have bite marks. Like, he already bit her and drank her blood and shit. But like, why is she not dead? And why is she not dead the moment she leaves the house? I don't understand. I guess plot armor. He plays, yeah. He can get into her home. Yeah, he charms her, and then she, forces her to invite him in. Because apparently that works. Apparently. So, the church. I like the church. I think Doru is really fucking neat. I'm going to pull up the church map. Oh, cool. It does have the Undercroft in the same map. Let's check dynamic lighting. Beautiful. Look at this dynamic lighting. Wow, that's a lot of points. Someone put a lot of work into this. See, this is really good looking dynamic lighting. Consent under duress isn't consent. Yeah, I don't that does not seem like it should work. It really shouldn't. Incidentally, is chat actually like readable on stream? Because like it's here so that it's readable on stream. Is it readable? Yes or no? Cool. So yeah. All right. Against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Raven. Is it really that close to it? So we're gonna take a look at areas of Barovia. So the Village of Barovia is right here. I don't know if I buy the roots of the pillar stone. It's like 1.5 miles away, but the hell do I know, right? It sounds cool, right? Church has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end, as it is worn and weary. Bell tower rises towards the back, and flickering light shines through holes in the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. Carver claw marks the scar by fire. Donovich lives here. Everyone in town hates it because there is a vampire in the basement, because Doru he refuses to kill him. Doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. Hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors lead to adjacent chambers. The chapel is strewn with debris. You hear a soft voice from within reciting a prayer. Prayer is blotted out by an inhuman scream that rises up from beneath the wooden floor. Alright, lightless room. Holy symbol. Yup. Wooden bed, straw-filled mattress, small table, oil lamp burning brightly. There's no lamp in this room. In fact, there aren't any light sources in this room. Are there? Let's drop, so let's go to our landing page, where I do not have my characters. Shit. So let's go to Death House, where my characters should be right out front. They are. We're going to copy them. We're going to put them on the landing page so that I consistently have somewhere to copy them from. Paste. There's no grid here. Okay. And then we're going to hit copy. And Daddy, I hungry. Yeah. Woof. Paste. So now let's take a look at how this looks. I think that might just be his light. Here, let's Let's just delete them all, except Snurk. Let's get rid of his light. And then, oh, there's light actually. That's neat. Does that mean, nope, not human, dynamic lighting. Like, are there things in this? Or is there, I think there might just be, yep, there's global illumination. So it's not worrying about light, it's just like, yeah, there's fucking light here. Which is kind of silly because the Undercroft isn't lit at all. So if I throw this guy down here, he just has light. Whatever. If I make a token have sight in the sheet, make that token default, it would stay on for all. Yes, but I don't have character sheets. Damn! That was some lightning. Technically that was thunder. But yeah, I didn't make character sheets for the players, so I don't care. I'll just copy paste the token from place to place over and over again. So whatever. Mood Thunder for Curse of Strahd. So anyway, so we got some rooms up top. That's fine. They're whatever. Lost the key to the iron padlock. Neat. The chain is removed and the trapdoor is opened. Doesn't say how to break it or pick it, but whatever. I think I tried to and then gave up on it. Ease the office. Hymns to the Dawn. Blade of Truth uses logic in the war against Diabolist heresies, as fought by the Olmquist Inquisitor. That is a long-ass fucking title. Jeebus. And then the chapel. The chapel's in shambles. Overturned and broken pews littering the floor. Dozens of candles mounted on candlesticks. Candelabras light every dusty corner in a fervent attempt to rid the chapel of shadows. Far end of the church sits a cloth-scarred altar beyond which kneels a priest in soiled vestments. Next to him hangs a long, thick rope that stretches up into the bell tower. Father, I'm starving. Yeah, that's woof. Woof. He is, in a word, insane. I love that. Just like the face is just big eyes. Also, his vestments remind me of Gwendolyn from Dark Souls. Is Gwendolyn's crown. He does look resigned. I mean, his son's been dead for, what, 2 years? A little more than a year ago. I would say he has several indefinite madnesses. Let's look up madness. Let's grab an indefinite madness. Basic rules. Okay. Indefinite madness. What's this indefinite madness? I find it hard to care about anything that goes on around me. That one's probably legit. Although that's probably the one that that Mad Mary has. I'm gonna go with being drunk keeps me sane. So I'm gonna play up that he's just like a fucking alcoholic. So yeah, Doru hasn't been fed since he was imprisoned a year ago. He cries out at all hours. Donovich prays day and night. Donovich tries to stop them. If Doru dies, he weeps inconsolably, overcome with despair. Cool beans. So he also knows these things. Irina is not Kolyan's daughter. Irina never knew, but Kolyan found her at the edge of Foliage Woods. She was but a girl and seemed to have no memory of her past. Kolyan adopted her and loved her dearly. And every night at midnight, the spirits of dead adventurers rise up from the church graveyard, performing a silent procession as they walk the road toward Castle Ravenloft. Like I said, that's in the special events. Funeral for the Burgomaster. So my players are carrying the bones of Rose and Thorn, so they're probably going to want to bury them. So I can probably Donovich presses the characters into helping him bury the bird. All right. During the burial, Donovich offers prayers to the Morning Lord in exchange for Kolyan Dirovich's deliverance from Barovia. Almost nostalgic for Curse of Strahd. Well, that's too bad, because I already have my Curse of Strahd group built. Undercroft, we got Doru. He's a CR5 vampire spawn. That said, he only got 82 hit points. but he does have resistance to non-magical attacks, and he regains 10 hit points at the start of his turn. So he could very well, like, annihilate some dudes. If you know too much and you really want to play the game anyway, DM it. And then the cemetery, nice and simple. Haunted house described in Death House, cool. So, you can use one or both of the following special events while the characters explore the village. March of the Dead, so that was the one explained in the church. Eerie green light suffuses the graveyard. From this light emerges a ghostly procession. Wavering images of doughty women toting grates, or doughty? Doughty.
Dowdy.
Dowdy. Okay, brave and persistent. Cool, that's a word. Picking Avernus back up on Wednesday. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. I don't know how I would do stopping a campaign midway through and picking it back up later. Archaically dressed mages, woodwise men, all these and more march forward from the graveyard, their numbers growing by the second. Parallel previous adventurers who died trying to destroy Strahd. Every night, the ghostly adventurers attempt to complete their quest, and each night they fail. They have no interest in the living, can't be hit down. As return, they will not communicate with the characters. They march straight to the chapel and up the high tower stair to the top of the tower. There they throw themselves down the shaft toward the crypts, where they disappear. That's really fucking cool. It's a good way to end a campaign. So this is one that I absolutely want to run. So I'm going to run this almost as soon as they start the session. Run Dream Pastries at the start of the session. Let's make this ever so slightly smaller. Morgantha the Night Hag from Old Bone Grinder selling her dream pastries for a gold apiece, and and my players have a considerable amount of money, so they can actually afford these. You trace the lonely sound to a hunched figure bundled in rags pushing a rickety wooden cart through the fog. So she's going door to door, knocking on doors, trying to sell them. Most of the time no one answers. But she recognizes that they're strangers and does her best to avoid them. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. She fights only in self-defense and offers the following information in exchange for her life. Strahd has mastery over the land and the weather, and his spies include anything from the trolley Diaz. Yeah, so she's disguised as just an older woman. So I'm absolutely going to use, I'll take the lot. She's got 12 pastries, so that's 12 gold. Honestly, if I could get my players to buy a pastry, that'd be fan-fucking-tastic. Let's look up Chapter 6. The appropriate response to Harry Potter saying I'll take the lot would be, well, there's other people who want these, so maybe you don't get all of them. Dream pastries. They look and taste like small mincemeat pies. Creature that eats one in its entirety must make a DC 16 con save or fall into a trance that lasts for 1d4 plus 4 hours. Incap, 0 speed. Transcends if they take damage or someone uses an action to shake them out of their stupor. They dream of being in some joyous place far removed from the evils of the world. Places and characters in the dream are vivid and believable, and when the dream ends, the affected creature experiences a longing to return to the place. Ron was pretty poor. He was pretty poor. She's going to try to avoid them, but once I describe her, out of the whole lot, down a camp to the west on the shores of the Tser Pool. Strahd has undead enemies in Barovia, namely the fallen knights of the Order of the Silver Dragon. Wow, she just knows these things. Wow. Most carefully guarded secret is a temple of forbidden lore hidden in the mountains. The temples can be reached by following the long and winding Solenka Pass. She just has that info. This is a really cool image, and it's just kind of jammed down here. It's just oh god, that looks terrible. That was clearly designed to be on a white background and not a black background. Ran her when they were asleep, and the one who was on watch saw her giving a family a pastry in exchange for a kid. I mean, yeah, essentially. So, there's the map of the town, which I am planning on. I'm gonna drop one of their tokens on it, In fact, I'm just going to do that right now. What do you think, guys? Who should be the leader of the party? Which tokens shouldn't I delete? Because I'm just going to have one of their tokens representing the whole party. Gramps the leader? Cool. Cool, so Gramps is the leader now. We're gonna scale him down just a wee bit. So they're right in front of Death House. So I'm essentially going to, once they get to this main thoroughfare, I'm not gonna like have them like, I'm not gonna have them like actually like moving along this or whatever. But once they're on this main thoroughfare, then I'm gonna describe Morgantha. Essentially going the other way, going door to door, and then at some point while she's still in their line of sight, if they feel, if they're tailing her. Actually, no, I'm not gonna have her. So it said if they tail her, right? The character shadow her for a while. She collects payment from a household. So yeah, so I'm gonna have her just heading eastward on the main thoroughfare. And then she's going to turn back up this way. And then somewhere around here-ish, she'll buy a kid. So it's very possible they just won't even be aware. The fuck? Real like Shia LaBeouf? Talking about? Yeah, Sorcerer probably has the most charisma. Cool, it just went green. Neato. Alright, so we're back. I just wrote down the stuff I was just saying. I considered using Shia LaBeouf instead of Vampire Spawn for Doru, but he's not undead, and I don't think it really works. So, pass. So, we've got the village prepped. So we've got Irina Kolyana. She wants to go to Valaki. Ismark wants to take her there. He's willing to join you if you suggest it, but I don't think he'll offer. He is technically the burgomaster now, so he does have responsibilities, but he does want to protect his sister. So if you ask, he'll come with you. I'll probably give him a heroic death if they do ask. He'll tackle Strahd into a ditch or some shit. Giving the players a chance to run away. So let's move this guy over here. And what I'm gonna do against all logic is I'm going to give it to all players. Do I have dynamic lighting on this? I don't. I'm gonna do something really stupid, and I'm just gonna draw some dynamic lighting on this map, like the basicest. Crap, I just covered a road. This isn't gonna work. I don't know if I want to do this. This seems dumb. Seems kind of stupid. Just like outline each block. Oh wait, and then you literally can't see the houses. Yeah, this is stupid. Yeah, this is dumb. We're not doing this. Lighting is so basic. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not doing dynamic lighting because that'd be really stupid because then they wouldn't be able to see the houses. That'd be dumb. So I'm just gonna leave it here. Like, yeah, you can see whatever. You should only stand there scribbling. I'll make it better. I swear to God, guys, there are things on that table that aren't scribbles furiously. But the odds of scribbling furiously are very high. Anyway, so we're prepped. We got the village prepped. So we're gonna move on because I don't think the village is gonna be an entire session. The only real combat that can occur here is against Doru. That said, one of the things that I do like to do is that if the players decide to stay at the church for any reason, I will throw several swarms of bats at them during the night. So it's just swarm of bats, which should be a thing that I have a token for. Cool, I have a Swarm of Bats token. So, swarms of bats. Just lots of bats in the church. Deal with it. And that would just be like during the night if they decide to sleep at the church. I think honestly, if they decide to sleep at the church or the burgomaster's mansion, I think it's reasonable. You know, the windows are boarded over, the chimney's still open, and you know there's probably gaps in the windows. Barovian coffee sounds fancy as fuck. Okay. Anyway, so the next thing I want to do, so they're going to make their way. So one thing that I want to keep in mind, basically, anyone they talk to suggests getting a reading. I absolutely need to hammer home Madame Ava. Madame Ava is absolutely important, absolutely necessary. The players should know that they're here to meet Madame Ava because she can help them find the things they're looking for, but I absolutely want to, you know, hammer it home, and really emphasize that this is a thing that you should do. So I made a note of that. Basically, anyone they talk to in the Village of Barovia will say, like, hey, you know, like, why are you here? And, you know, they can just sort of roleplay that. So, River Iblis, the river flows as clear as blue winter sky through the valley. So, as they were walking down the old Svalish Road towards the Village of Barovia, I wanted to mention that while they were here, they could hear the river off in the distance. But I got sidetracked like in the middle of the sentence, and I never mentioned the river. Not the end of the world. The river doesn't do a whole lot. In our speed run, I had put one of the fanes, one of Strahd's sources of power, in this marsh. They didn't go to that one anyway, so it didn't end up mattering. But so they will cross the Iblis River. Yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. So Village of Barovia, we already did that. River Iblis Crossroads. So that's I should probably leave this open. So right here we've got a crossroads, and this crossroads has one of my favorite encounters. Period. So there's an old wooden gallows. Across from the gallows, a low wall. Is there anyone in the gallows? No. So where there was nothing before, now hangs a lifeless gray body. The breeze turns the hanged figure slowly so that it can fix its dead eyes upon you. And, you know, I pick a character, and it's like, oh yeah, like, it looks like you. But then everyone else just sees an unfamiliar Barovian. I actually kind of like it better if it just looks like you. Just everyone sees, it looks like you. One of the other... So this is what I call a mark of horror. Which I don't know if this is marks of horror. Nope, not in here. It's in the introduction. Oh yeah, look at that, marks of horror. So we go to marks of horror. So, like, you know, marks of horror essentially gives you a bunch of different ways to make horror happen. I really like details. I really like personification. Light, I mean, yeah, okay. You know, perpetually dark in tone, you need light. I prefer humor for lightness, but age is really good. So one of the things that I really like is just like these things that are just incomprehensible, and there's literally no explanation. It's just, this is a thing that's creepy, and you don't know why it's there. I don't even know why it's there, but that doesn't matter. It's creepy. Deal with it. So this hanged one feature, I think, is just absolutely incredible. Another one that I had written down that I got from somewhere on Reddit at some point in the last few weeks is a book that, when read, contains the entire history of your life, and as you reach the final page, it reads, and then a monster snuck up on him. And, you know, then they whip around and they're like, oh god, there's a monster, and then there's nothing there. So I really like, you know, those details, that are just creepy for no reason other than being creepy. But this is absolutely one of my favorite things. So the reason we want to railroad them to Madame Ava is the Tser Pool Encampment. We want to get we want to get the reading. And conveniently, Roll20. I actually don't know if it's convenient. Also, I just learned recently that if you hold Shift and then scroll wheel, you can scroll sideways. So that's neat. But there's a Tarokka reading board, which is not super useful for me. Is this GM overlay? Yeah, it is. Do I have Tarokka cards? Ooh. Worthless. There's no art for the deck. Appendix. Wait, where Appendix E? Oh my god. There's no art for the deck. Okay, so this is the point. I have a deck. I'm going to go grab my deck. So I have a deck. I have a Tarokka deck. If you bought the Roll20, I think you do. All right. I will try to find it in Roll20. But what I want to do is I want to figure out not only where. So I need to figure out the reading. You need to wear a veil and go full mystic. Watch the Curse of Strahd speedrun. We played that one up. We went a little all out on that. So I have the high deck. I have the common deck. Oh god, they're apparently mixed together. It's coins. Okay, so we've got high deck. We've got common deck. So we can do. Fully intend on dressing up as both Ava and Strahd. I had a wardrobe change partway in. I did. So I've got the deck. So I need to figure out the reading. So this is something that massively affects the way your Curse of Strahd game runs. So what we're determining here. So I should probably like prep the area. So there's a camp next to a river. It smells like mud. A bunch of colorful tents, accordion music, cool. There's horses drinking from the river. I guess they're like up here. Let's actually pull up this Tser Pool Encampment. Yeah, so cool. There's 8 horses along the river and a big old pile of Vistani. 12 Vistani standing around a fire, telling stories and guzzling wine. They are intoxicated and have disadvantage on tackles. They're poisoned. They're poisoned. They are in league with Strahd. They only attack if the characters provoke them. If they linger at the camp, continue with the Vistana's tale. So one of the Vistani recounts the tale. Cool. But the really important thing is Madame Ava's 10. At last, you have arrived. Cackling laughter bursts like mad lightning from her withered lips. So this is... Madame Ava speaks the name of each party member, makes some reference to individuals' past deeds. She then asks the characters if they want their fortunes read. Okay, so make some reference to the individual's past deeds. So I want to write these down because I have a really hard time like bringing them to mind when like as that happens. T equals 27,666. Wow, 7.5 hours. Wow. I think you got the wrong timestamp there, Steph. It's 2766. Whatever. Anyway, but I want to come up with one of each of their past deeds. So Snurk, Gramps, Elodie, Rubek, and Inej. Past deeds. So ideally we would have past deeds that are like prior to the campaign. You have seen many of your friends die. turn on word wrap. Shadows are in your very soul. Your very blood. Snirk. I want to talk about how he left Dongrunglung. I'm just trying to figure out how to word it. Abandoning people. Grams. I'm just like typing. So at this point, I want to prove to them that Madame Ava knows not only where they come from, but also why they're here. So, wise and respected leader for centuries, and you set off now to avenge those you could not protect. Rubeck. I'm trying to remember why Rubeck. Oh, jeez. What the fuck did I do? Give me a problem. Rubeck. I'm trying to remember why Rubeck was forced out of his tribe. This is going to be hard to find. Is that it? Okay. Still reeling from Ava being Strahd's fucking half-sister. Half-sister. Also, it's spelled L-E-D-E when you bury a lead. The opening sentence or paragraph of the news article. Lead. That was loud. But yeah, you bury the lead. Royal blood, Madame Ava is Strahd's half-sister. Yeah, that's a fucking headline. It's buried in Appendix D. So yeah, they buried the lead. So Madame Ava says things to each of them. Something about leaving his tribe, referencing that she knows why. So I need to figure out why. If anyone remembers why Rubeck was kicked out, that would be so useful. Please let me know. An asset more than a person. This could actually get in some hot water because the rest of the whistleblowers are like, I thought you were just like a friend. I was really hoping someone would tell me why Rubeck left his tribe. What if I just search tribe? I'm just searching our Discord, try and find. Nope, I got jack shit. Maybe he sent it to me? Maybe Andy just sent it to me and that's why I know. I think it was actually in the, I think it was actually during our session 0 that he explained it. So I will have to go back and watch that to figure out why he was kicked out of his tribe. So, yikes. All right, so that's going to be a problem. So, anyway, let's do this reading. So, the reading is an absolutely massive part of running the game. So what you do is you either use regular playing cards or you use a Tarokka deck, as I have, and you do a reading. You pick 5 cards. The first card is the location of the Tome of Strahd. The second card is the location of the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. The third card is the location of the Sun Sword, which is ridiculously powerful, mostly because it creates sunlight. The fourth card is the location of your fated ally, Strahd's enemy. And the fifth card is where you can find Strahd in the castle, guaranteed. If you go to that location, Strahd will be there. So, so remove the 14 cards with the crown icon and shuffle them, and shuffle the remaining cards, keeping the 2 decks separate. Draw the top 3 cards from the common deck and lay them face down in 1, 2, 3 positions. Got it. Then draw the top 2 cards from the high deck and lay them face down in 4 and 5 positions. I'm not going to do the positions. It's not really super important right now. But I am going to use this deck of cards to randomize what the campaign looks like, and then I'm going to decide if I like how it was randomized. So I'm going to try and get my camera to point down at my desk. Is this going poorly? All right, cool. We'll call it good enough. So I've got the common deck here. So I'm just going to play them face up, just so we know. So we've got. I forget the name of the suits. I know this is the coins. This is how a lot of only. You can't say. You can't. Let's just pull these back. So we've got 5 cards. You can't see jack shit here. This isn't really helping you guys at all, is it? So the first card is the Traitor, which is the 9 of. I don't remember the name of the suit. Is it like symbols? Diamond, coins. 9 of Glyphs. Alright, so the 9 of Glyphs. So the treasure is in the master bedroom of Walkerhouse. Look for a wealthy woman, a staunch ally of the devil. She keeps the treasure under lock and key with the bones of an ancient enemy. I actually really like that. So, Tome of Strahd. 9 of Glyphs. Walkerhouse. Got it. Second card is the Master of Glyphs, the Priest. You will find what you seek in the castle amid the ruins of a place of supplication. I don't like that. I don't like putting treasures in the castle. So I'm actually just going to discard this card and get a different one. I don't like the idea of the treasures being in the castle because it really wait, is this Glyphs? Shit. What is this? Is Stars is actually a suit. Okay. Conjure. I see a dead village drowned by a river ruled by one who has brought great evil into the world. The treasure is in Baba Lysaga's hut. I like that. I like that a lot better. Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. So I actually have all 9s, interestingly. 9 of Stars. Baba Lysaga's hut. And then the last one is the Miser, the 9 of Coins. So let's see where the 9 of Coins is. Look for a fortress inside of a fortress. Again, that's inside the castle. I don't like that. I really, really do not like that. So we're going to do 6 of Swords. See what we got. Especially for the find the Mad Dog's Crypt, again, in the castle. So there's a lot of treasure locations that are in the castle, and I'm just not okay with them. So let's get a new card. So we've got the 4 of Stars, which is the Abjurer, in the Beacon of Argyn Vostholt. I see a fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon. Look to the highest peak. I think that's just way too easy to... I think that might be too easy. Let's see. I'll hold on to that, but I'm gonna play another card, see if I like it. 7 of Coins. What you seek lies at the crossroads of life and death among the buried dead. The graveyard at the River Ivlis Crossroads. That's way too early. That's Jesus. Master of Coins. I see a nest of ravens. There you will find the prize. Hidden in the attic of the Blue Water Inn. I don't know. 8 of Glyphs. I'm having a really hard time with the Sun Sword. It's so powerful that it is... I don't want it to be too early, but I also don't want it to be too late. I want them to get it around level 7. So I might actually swap the Holy Symbol and the Sword, maybe. So I got the Bishop. What you seek lies in a pile of treasure beyond a set of amber doors. I don't hate the Amber Temple. Let me see what level you're supposed to be at the Amber Temple. So there's a table for that, right? Yeah, Amber Temple, you're supposed to be level 9. So for level 7, we've got Argynvost Holt and Werewolf Den. So maybe I can put it in Argynvost Holt. Maybe that's not a problem. So let's go back to the 4 of Stars. It just seems like a really, really easy clue, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon. Yeah, so let's go with that. I don't hate it. It's around level 7. So Sun Sword, 4 of Glyphs, Argynvost Holt Beacon. So then we have the ally and where you can find Strahd. Where you can find Strahd, I don't think is super important. I really don't think it's important. But we're gonna look for Strahd's enemy. But I already know who I want as their enemy, so I'm going to stack this. So because I am just an asshole, I am going to give them the Beast. So the Beast, Jack of Diamonds, the werewolf holds a secret hatred for your enemy. Use her hatred to your advantage. It refers to Zuleika Torrescu. So that is the person that the 2 of the players are after. So they have to make a deal with their enemy to... I mean, yeah, they might not. Fated ally. Beast. Zuleika Torrescu. And then... so we have the Horseman for the location of Strahd. I'm probably just going to take it. Horseman. Wait, what? What? Why are there 2 different... Vic, why is there A and B for a bunch of them? Why is there A and B for a bunch of them? Some cards offer 2 possible results. In such case, you pick the one you prefer. Okay. Interesting. I do love the winery, but having the sword at the winery seems a little weird. So, Strahd's location in the castle. Alright, so I have the Horseman. So, Horseman. He lurks in the one place to which he must return, a place of death. Wow, his tomb. That's boring. I'm gonna go with Executioner. I like this one. See a dark figure on a balcony looking down upon this tortured land with a twisted smile. I really like the Overlook as a combat area, just because it is really dangerous, because like he can just shove you off and he can fly. He don't give a shit. Strahd's location. So we've got Executioner. Overlook balcony. We have balcony too, but our ally was the mopey knight in the basement. That's pretty funny. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to give them readings. I'm gonna turn my camera back up at this point. I want to give them readings about where they can find the things that they entered this this campaign to look for. So Strahd doesn't do Vegas. It was rigged from the start. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It was, always rigged from the start. So I want to give them readings about where they can find the things that they're looking for. So I'm going to use treasure locations for that. And I'm just going to shuffle the deck, and we're going to see if I can find out where they are. So the thing that Snurk is looking for is Dorian Ito, his master. the thing that Inej is looking for is the Shield of the Hidden Lord. So I'm going to have to come up with a separate thing for that, because that is a bit goal. Whether or not the shield exists in Barovia is actually up to viewers. If we reach the bit goal, then the shield will appear in a location. So let's see where we can find Dorian Ito. So I drew the 5 of coins, the guild member. I see a dark room full of bottles. It was the tomb of a guild member. In a crypt. I hate all of these. Alright, so here I'm gonna search Wizard of Wines, because I suddenly really want Dorian Ito to be at the Wizard of Wines, because I just seems neat. Wow, there's only one that goes to the okay. So Dorian Ito, 5 of coins, but then I'm just gonna rewrite it. I see a dark room full of bottles. And we're gonna, so I know some things about some stuff. So I know that the basement is kept like supernaturally cold by mold. So we're gonna go to the basement, the cellar, which is area W14. It's Q14, W14 dot. Wine cellar. So let's find a detail about this that I can just put into the description. See a dark room full of bottles. North wall. Blah, blah, blah. I imagine I'm sitting on the roof, hair in the wind, and Snurk finally see him as the needle blights show up. Yeah, so that's a good question. So if I'm putting Dorian Ito here, how did Dorian survive the needle blights, or didn't he? That's actually a really good question. So I want him suddenly. I want him in the wine cellar, and I kind of want him like trapped there, kind of surrounded by the rest of his dead adventuring party. But then why did they keep him alive? But I guess I have time to figure that out. I don't need to figure that out right now. I see a dark room full of bottles. The one you seek will be kept under lock and key. So that's Dorian Ito. That one's easy. So let's move on. So Tiny and Gramps is really easy. I just need to find a card that like seems legit. So let's search this for werewolf den. Myrmidon. Look for a den of wolves in the hills overlooking a mountain lake. So cool. So we've got 5 of swords, Myrmidon. 5 of swords. Guild number. This is Myrmidon. That's a hard word to spell. Look for a den of wolves in the hills overlooking a mountain lake. This is Zuleika or a Toranescu. Tiny Gramps. Snurk. Shield of the Hidden Lord. So the question is, where do I want to put the shield? Where do I want it? Where do I want Nixie to be with the shield? Is the question. I kind of want to replace the Mad Mage with Nixie. I kind of suddenly want to do that. I'm doing it. Replacing Mad Mage with Nixie. Because that makes sense, right? Mad Mage. So we want Noxie. Exploding caravan, so it's exploding war machine. So I need a card. So the Mad Mage. That's yeah. There's no treasure with the Mad Mage. He's just an ally sometimes. So I just need a card. Trader, merchant, warrior, paladin, necromancer, wizard, myrmidon, swashbuckler, dictator, avenger, torturer, trader, berserker, tax collector, philanthropist, miser, transmuter, beggar, mercenary, evoker, anarchist, shepherd, priest, missionary, soldier, hooded one, diviner, healer, monk, illusionist, charlatan, enchanter. I don't know. I don't know which of these cards is good. What do you think, Steph? Which card sounds good for Nixie? Wizard, swashbuckler. There's no like defender or artificer or inventor, protector, miser. Kind of like anarchist. There's a lot of cards. Guild member, bishop, rogue, thief, traitor, abjurer, conjurer, merchant, warrior, paladin, necromancer, wizard, myrmidon, swashbuckler, dictator, avenger, torturer, traitor, berserker, tax collector, philanthropist, miser, transmuter, beggar, mercenary, evoker, anarchist, shepherd, priest, missionary, soldier, hooded one, diviner, healer, monk, illusionist, charlatan, enchanter, anarchist. You dig anarchist. Alright, cool. We're gonna go with anarchist. Alright, so that's the 6 of glyphs. 6 of glyphs. Anarchist. Your greatest ally. No, I don't want your greatest ally. You will find that which you seek in the hands of one who yeah, this doesn't give any information about oh, thanks. That was real nice of you. In the hands of one I will legit just ask Andy. I'm just gonna do that right now. At Andy. Remind me why Rubeck, why Rubeck lost his tribe. Alright, I'm just gonna ask Andy. This is a thing that you can do. You can ask your players for stuff. Alright, so, new tribe. Rubeck. Gotta do it the hard way. Looking through 4 hour, I guess our session 0 was only like 2.5 hours. So what I want, I'm hoping that there's a card that refers to the areas, the Vistani camp outside. I'm hoping there's a treasure here. Yeah, cool. So Vistani treasure wagon, neat. All right, so Vistani treasure, cool. Tax collector. All right, 8 of coins. Tax collector. The Vistani have what you seek. A missing child. Yeah, holds the key to a new community. So what I want to do with Rubeck is, so in the Vistani camp, there is Where's the areas? Vistani Camp. All right, we got a map. So these buildings surrounding the Vistani Camp are, in the book, they are Dusk Elves. I don't think Dusk Elves literally appear anywhere else in the module outside of Rahadan. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wholesale replace every single Dusk Elf with a Goliath. Dusk Elf. So hopefully there's some info about... There's no info about any of the Dusk Elves. It's just like, yeah, there's a dude. So there's Casimir. A fallen sister. So I really like Casimir's story. So Casimir's sister died, and Casimir thinks, are the Dusk Elves kind of dicks? There's like no info about the Dusk Elves. They're technically like evil. Casimir wants to res his sister so that she can like overthrow Strahd and become the new Strahd. Casimir's the leader. He's got a hella stat block. I think he's just mage. CR6, 40 hit points. Yeah, he's just mage. Yeah, the Dusk Elves are kind of dicks, so I'm going to replace the Dusk Elves with a tribe of Goliaths, and give Rubek an opportunity to find his way into that tribe, but it's going to require helping Casimir resurrect his sister, which is a story that I actually really love, but I don't like it. It's not super compelling as it is, so I'm going to make it compelling by tying it into Rubek's backstory. So I think I have enough info here about the reading. So all I need to do essentially is put the pictures of the cards into Roll20. So what I want to do is, Tim, you said you had those? Like, it's in here, but it's literally like, here's a big ol' image with every card in it. Oh no, each one's a separate... Oh, cool. Thank fuck. Alright, each one's a separate card. So, they're all out of order though, which is really annoying. I need the Beast. So we're gonna go Strahd, Tarokka, DD Tarokka Beast. Shit, I didn't put the names of these. Oops, wrong. Where? 9 of Glyphs. Traitor. 9 of Stars. 9 of Stars. Conjurer. I hope I didn't pick the same card twice at any point. 4 of Glyphs. Shepherd. There's the Beast, the Executioner. 5 of Coins Guild Member. 5 of Swords Myrmidon. 6 of Glyphs Anarchist. 8 of Coins Tax. Okay, cool. I did not reuse any cards, so that's good. So I need Conjurer, Traitor, Conjurer, Shepherd, Executioner. Traitor, Conjurer, Shepherd, Executioner. Traitor, Executioner. So I still need Traitor, Shepherd. I don't know why these are all out of order. Oh, they're alphabetical. Okay. That makes way more sense. So I need the Traitor. Okay, and then I need Guild Member, Myrmidon, Anarchist, Tax Collectors. Tax Collectors right here. So Myrmidon. Anarchist and Guild Member. Got it. Guild Member. And all the way back at the top for the Anarchist. Save. Cool, so I got my 9 cards that I'm going to be using. And then I can just... The only way to drop multiple at a time is by going to it. Alright, so we're uploading. My stream's probably going to tank. Yep, stream's tanking. Jesus. Stream tanked for like a second while they uploaded. Loading recent uploads. Sorry. Grayscale Nixie's art and drop it on the Anarchist card. That would be... Nah. That's too much work. So, Tomastrad, 9 of Glyphs, Trader. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the GM info overlay. We're going to drop Trader. We're going to scale it up. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's good enough. So basically how I'm going to play this at the table is I'm just going to go to the GM overlay, right-click layer, token layer, and it's going to look like I flipped the card over. So that's what that is. So card 2 is the Conjurer. What the fuck? Stop. Okay, Conjurer's here somehow. Okay. Card 3 is the Shepherd. I think I made it too big, but not a big deal. Card 4 is the Beast. Yeah, looks good. Scale it. Looks good. Card 5 is the Executioner. Scale it up. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go to the map layer. We're going to grab this guy and we're going to set its dimensions. We're just going to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit taller. By a little bit, I mean significantly, because I want room to put another row of cards down here. So I'm going to make this, let's say 1800 pixels tall. Actually, let's do some math. So 1800 over 1330 is 1.35 times 1470. So we're going to do 1990 by 1800. And yes, it's going to like super... Oh, the cards are on the background. Crap. So that doesn't work. What the hell? What's my desktop background? That's a good question. It's Odyssey of the Dragon Lords with all our character art. Sorry, Scorpio's a little bit hidden behind my camera. So let's set those dimensions back to 1330 and 1470. Set. Move this up a little bit. Cover that white. And then for some reason, this card shrank back down. Oh god, I moved the background up, so I have to move all my cards up. And then I have to rescale this guy. Alright, so I guess what I'll do then, so do I have the back of a Tarokka card? I don't think I do. What I really want is I want more of these backs. Tarokka card back. There's no color. Is there any way for me to just like download this image, copy, and then can I like open GIMP and just like paste it? Or is that only copied in the context of... Sorry, this is really big. So we're just going to drop that down here for now. So I want to get this image so that I can put more of these on the table. Not really sure how to do it other than just like zoom in, take a screenshot. So I guess I'm going to do that. Look at me being industrious. I guess I can close again. Don't need that. Upload already. Jesus. How big's that picture? Oh, okay. So it shows up in nearly the same resolution. So what's really cool about these 4 additional cards is that I can put these also on the GM layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the 4 corners of the map, and then just be like, yeah, like this one's for you, this one's for you, this one's for you. And then like the tiny little corners on here should be mostly imperceptible, like unless someone's like really zooming in. But I will get these on the GM layer in a moment. Okay. So whoops. Put that back. You and you and you and you. Layer, GM layer. Let's turn our overlay back on. Let's go to the GM layer, and then I just need to. So let's see what the dimensions of this are. So 197 by 275. So then I need to just put their cards on top. So 197 by 275. And then what I want to do is I want to send this to back. So what I can do is when I get here, I click token layer, and then the card back. So I can deal the cards essentially. So we're going to move that to the GM layer, go to the GM layer, and then make sure that the card back is on top. So we've got guild member, let's drop Myrmidon. Advanced, 197 by 275, set, line it up. Doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, it just needs to be close. And then send the card to back. And then the third one is Anarchist and then Tax Collector. Anarchist and Tax Collector. Advanced, set dimensions, 187 by 275. Line it up. To back. Advanced, set dimensions, 197 by 275. Line it up. And then to back. So now, when we do the reading, so I'll be on the GM layer the entire time. So I'll bring the players here. I'll tell the players she deals you 5 cards, and then I'll switch to this layer, or I'll move the players here, and then one by one I will move these cards to the token layer to flip them over and reveal them. And then after she does that, there will be, oh, also, you came here looking for something. So she gives a pointed look to Snirk, and she deals a card. She gives a pointed look to Tiny and Gramps, and she deals a card. She gives a pointed look to Inej, and she deals a card. She gives a pointed look to Rubek, and she deals a card. And then, once all those cards are dealt, I can go through them one by one and actually reveal the cards. So I can essentially, like, I've set up what I need to actually have a Tarokka reading in real time while we're on a virtual tabletop. So, yay me. But the reason that I wanted to... Oh, look at that. I missed some cards. Elementalist, Druid, and Dark Lord. Whoopsies. Not a big deal. Ship it. Yeah, ship it. I've been at this for an hour 40. I think we're about as far as we're gonna get. I don't think the players are gonna get this far. So I don't think the players are going to get further than this in the session. But just in case they do, the one last thing that I want to prep very, very quickly is Old Bone Grinder. So if we go to, if we go here, so actually Bone Grinder is passed. Yeah, Old Bone Grinder is passed. So instead, what I want to do is, if they get past this, they make their way up the road, they cross the Tser Falls, so let's actually prep Area H instead. Lines of Barovia, Areas of Barovia, go to Area H, see what the hell's up with this. It's just a bridge, right? So we got all this Vistani stuff going on, and then Tser Falls. So if they're on the high road, you follow the dirt road, blah, 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 blah. And then, we talk about that, and then when they get to this intersection, which is Area I, even here in the mountains, the forest and the fog are inescapable. Ahead, the dirt road splits in two, widening towards the east. So Strahd has not yet invited them, but now they will. So I'm going to have Rahadin, his chamberlain, invite them at this time, or maybe I just want to give them a letter. So let's see. There's handouts. There should be Strahd's invitation. My friends, know that it is I who have brought you to this land. That's not true. Madame Eva brought them. So this handout doesn't really work for me, unfortunately. I mean, he could just lie. He could just lie and say that he brought them. Let's see, handouts, Strahd's invitation. So I could give them this handout. Madame Eva will probably tell them that she brought them here, but Strahd actually wants them to think that it's him. You can remake a fancy one tomorrow for me? I would love you forever. Tim, it's like 2 in the morning, you should sleep. But yeah, if we do know Tim is good at that. So I would love one that does not say, I have brought you to this land. Just something like, this is my land. This land is my home, and know that only I can release you from it. But yeah, your off work time is meaningless. So I want to give them I want to give them an invitation to the castle. At which point I would end the session, even if we have like an hour left in our session. But if we don't get there, that's fine, because that'll give me time to prep the actual castle and how I want Strahd to interact with them. This is my land, my home, and know that only I can release you from it. Something like that. That'd be pretty neat. Oh, you took off long-ass weekend for your birthday. That's fantastic. And you've deigned to spend your birthday with us this Saturday when we play Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. But yeah, I'm gonna call this prep session here. I don't want to prep anything more because I think I'm already a little further ahead than I think they'll get. I've only prepped one combat encounter, and that's Doru in the basement. I have Swarm of Bats encounter maybe in the church. Combat generally takes the most time in a session, but I think that there's going to be sufficient roleplay in this session to actually fill it up. We've got roleplay with Ismark and Irina and Donovich and Madame Eva, so we've got a lot of role playing to do, and I think I might be underestimating how long role play takes because we moved to online. Roleplay does take a little bit longer because a lot of accidentally talking over one another. So we're going to call it here. Thanks for joining me. It's always great having people in chat to give suggestions and bounce ideas off of. If you really like DM prep and you want to see a different game prepped, check us out tomorrow night. I'm prepping our Odyssey of the Dragon Lords game, same time, same place, twitch.tv/GildedTroll. The Gilded Troll, 7 p.m. EST. Saturdays, we play Odyssey of the Dragon Lords at 4 p.m. EST, and Sundays, we play Curse of Strahd at 1 p.m. EST. So if you want to see the session that I just prepped, check us out on Sunday. And then, yeah, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!